What is this noise about public speaking here and there? Public speaking anywhere you turn. I know that's why some of you are here. Some of you are the inquisitive Thomas. I don't like to call Thomas a doubtful person. I think it's just very, very inquisitive. Some of you are the curious cats. You just want to know what is it about public speaking? Why are you so psyched? Why are people so hyperactive about this public speaking thing? That's probably the reason why some of you have joined this class. Well, for those that are just the curious cats, the inquisitive Thomas, and those that are really here to learn, you're in the right place. But then, just before we begin anything about public speaking, because honestly, take your mind away from me just coming here and giving you definitions alone. I'm not going to be talking definitions alone. I'm going to be talking definition applied to practical, both of them in one package. That's what you're going to find in this video. So I just enjoin you to stick through till the end. Now, before I run you through what's actually on my mind to discuss with you today, I would just like to give you just a brief intro into the psychology of public speaking. Now, what makes public speaking different from your normal everyday conversation? Because myself and yourself, we have friends that we talk to, right? And we're not afraid when we talk to them. We don't get nervous when we're about to gist them about one very interesting movie that we've seen. But then when it comes to standing in front of people, that is where we have this problem. And it's really what I'm going to try to focus on briefly in this video. Now, let's go straight into the psychology of public speaking. What is public speaking? Public speaking is the act of speaking to people in a structured manner. But then, if you are like my secondary school teacher, he would say, Victoria, you do not define a word as it were in its original form. You cannot say that public speaking is speaking. I'm going to try to just break down what I have said. So, what do I mean by public speaking? Being an act of speaking to people in a structured manner. What I mean is that public speaking is a more formal skill of expression, a more formal skill of communication that is advanced beyond just a normal, casual, everyday conversation. And think of it, what makes this different? I like to call it the triangle of public speaking. I think I'm the first person coining that for it. And why? It's because we have a listener, first a speaker, I'm sorry for that, a speaker, then we have the message, and then we have the listener, which we call the audience, at the other end of that triangle. And now look at it, the triangle itself is structural. It moves first from the speaker to the message and then to the audience. So that means that when any of the element on this triangle is missing, then you cannot be said to be doing public speaking, as it were. It's just a normal conversation that you're having. And the reason why this is very important when we talk about the skill of public speaking, of the business of public speaking, is actually because you cannot stand before people and just ramble on or say anything that you like. And you cannot say that you are speaking to people without having a defined message. And at the same time, you cannot say that you have a defined message and then you don't have who you're communicating these defined messages to. That is what we're going to treat here. And so, just as an addendum to the psychology of public speaking that I have briefly just narrated. If you want to get a more in depth explanation on that psychology, I would advise that you get my book, The ABC of Public Speaking. I'll be dropping the link to getting that book after this video. I think if you want to learn more about the psychology of speaking, you would find it in my book. But then, just like as an addendum to the psychology of public speaking, there are means. First, if you are a beginner, if you are just starting to embrace that part of you that really want to stand before 800, 500, or even thousands of people to speak, I want to take you first through the means of public speaking. Then I'll give you the solution, tell you the truth about this mint first, and then I'll just give you little tips on how to combat this mint so that first you even get started in this skill and the business of public speaking, as I like to call it. The first thing, without wasting our time, is number one, public speaking is never a talent. Now, listen to me. Oratory is a talent. Technically, being able to wow people, being very gifted at crafting words together can be a talent, but communicating and expressing yourself confidently before people, it's something that you can actually train yourself to become. And the reason why I'm so confident telling you this is because most of the public speakers that you admire out there actually learned to speak. I can mention one person for a fact because I consume his videos a lot. I am just interested in anything he has to say about speaking, and that person is this South African speaker, Vusi Tembewayo. I'm so sorry if I do not get that pronunciation of the name right. I apologize for that. But then I think one thing he said in his video that struck me really hard was that for the first time he was going to compete at an international level at age 7, I think, for public speaking. He said he rehearsed over 10 times. And I'm saying 10 times because it was actually over 10 times, but I cannot really remember the exact number. But then he said he rehearsed for over 10 good times. So how is it that somebody is rehearsing over 10 times before they speak, and that person is a natural public speaker, is a talented public speaker? I mean, talent is supposed to be what flows out naturally out of you. So that is just to clear your head about this myth that public speaking is a talent. And then number two is that you think you have to sound a particular way or speak a particular way before you can be accepted as a public speaker. And it's actually also wrong. The reason why you are like that is because you have too much preoccupation about public perception of who you are. And so it really affects your confidence in standing up to express yourself. And now, instead of focusing on that, how you sound or your public perception, the simple solution to this is first articulation. Build up yourself. Know what you want to talk about. Have really good vocabulary bank. So when you begin to talk about the things that you want to talk about, you're talking from a place of knowledge first before you start to refine your tone and any other thing. And then number three, is very quickly. Some people think it's only extroverts that speak. We think public speaking has to definitely be the business of people that are extroverted. But that also is a lie because myself, I do not see myself as an extroverted person. I am actually an introvert that has just learned how to communicate, how to be able to express myself at any gathering that I find myself, be it academic, be it entertainment, be it religious gathering, really. And then, last but not least, you always tell yourself that I'm just shy. But that also, my dear, is a lie. You're not shy. The fact that you're always so very excited to share or to gist your friends about a movie that you saw that was so good. Doesn't it just point something to the fact that if you would train yourself, if you would practice this public speaking skill, you're gonna become good at it. Well, I'm not gonna give all away here. So I'll be saying look into these links, the other side of it that is the truth, and just the little tips in between that you can find that can help you to tackle the myths. And I will see you in the next class.